So hello everyone, I hope you guys are having a fantastic day today and welcome to another video. So about 10 days ago at the time of recording this video, I decided to go ahead and purchase the M4 iPad Pro. Now I did do a video a couple of weeks ago about how 95% of people don't need this thing, but my curiosity kind of got to me and I was willing to trade it in, and I got a pretty decent deal on the trade-in, coupled that with the back to school sale. So in this video, I wanted to give you guys my thoughts on the M4 iPad Pro and just talk about the experience and compare it to an earlier M series iPad and I guess older iPads, just to give you my thoughts and what I think about the newest iPad. So without further ado, let's get into it. So first of all, let's just clear out of the way. Let's get the shortest thing out of the way. The dimensions, yes, the iPad is technically thinner and smaller, or thinner, I guess. But compared to my iPad, like my previous iPad, which was an M1 iPad Pro, I really couldn't tell a difference. Now, this is the 11-inch iPad Pro, and comparing the M1 to the M4, dimension-wise, I seriously couldn't tell a difference. Even like side by side, it's just a tiny bit thinner, but it's nothing really to scoff at. It's nothing really to make a whole video, spend like 5 minutes talking about. It's nothing special. It literally, like, I can tell you right now, it feels exactly the same as my previous iPad in terms of weight and stuff. Coming from an 11-inch M1 to an M4 is nothing really surprising. It feels exactly the same. Now, the display, on the other hand, depending on what I'm doing, is fantastic. So this is the OLED display, and comparing that to the LCD on the 11-inch M1 is a pretty big difference, but only specifically when you're viewing like movies or any HDR or like very specialized content with lots of blacks and stuff like that. The OLED screen is a pretty big upgrade over the LCD, but if you're just going to be using your iPad for iPad things, honestly, like, the LCD was really good anyways. And unless you're watching like HDR movies or really working on color accurate stuff, then honestly, I don't think you're going to really notice the difference, unfortunately. So like, the OLED screen is nice, but it's not a must-have in my personal opinion. Honestly, like, it's when I'm just doing iPad things, like majority of people should be using their iPad for, I really don't tell a difference. It's only when I'm maybe watching a video or watching a movie with black backgrounds or anything like that that makes it really nice, especially at nighttime. So just keep that in mind. And I guess on the topic of iPad things, really for the most part, just doing normal iPad like tasks, such as, you know, taking notes, watching videos, doing emails, doing like any like web browsing, just anything that you would use a tablet for. I did not see a difference at all upgrading from the M1 to the M2. And I think that's a pretty big thing if you're just a very casual user and you think you need the best iPad just to do that. For the casual users, this iPad doesn't feel any different from using like even the 10th gen iPad for like a third of the price. So I do want to say that. Now, I do want to talk about the Pencil Pro, which is a big thing. I really love this thing. I do love this thing. And coming from an M1, which didn't have a lot of the features, including the hover feature, the Pencil Pro is a very nice quality of life upgrade for me who loves to draw. So if I go in here, so this is an art piece that I did on my on the M4. Being able to hover over and see the cursor is really nice. Helps to better figure out where you're gonna place your pencil, I guess. If you're used to Wacom tablets and all that stuff, this is a pretty big thing. It wasn't the M2, but me being from the M1, it was a pretty nice, pretty big quality of life. Now, unfortunately, Clip Studio doesn't have the squeeze function, so I'll go ahead and just show you the squeeze gesture on something like maybe like Procreate. I know Procreate just started. Okay, sorry about that, guys. I was getting it's been a while since I've used Procreate, so I'm just getting a little bit used to it. But here I can show you guys all the new features of the Pencil Pro, because for artists, this is really nice. So getting the squeeze here, for example, right, gives you a quick action menu. I have it configured right here. Really nice. Just makes it really significantly more, significantly nicer to go and, for example, add new layers, clear layers, instead of having to go up, you know, to the top right and then, you know, creating whatever, creating the layer from there. Instead, you can from any part of the pen or any part of the screen, you just have to squeeze and then boom, you got your quick action menu. It's super nice. And the barrel roll is really nice. So I have a calligraphy pen right here. So you can see here as I preview it, I can rotate the barrel here And for calligraphy, which I'm slowly getting into, and for painting, I'm assuming as well, this is actually a really nice feature. So let me just let me see if I can. So if I do that, there we go. So I'm just trying it out, just like that as an example, right? So just that's just my initials of the channel, but you get the point. The barrel roll and the squeeze, even though they're very specific purposes, which is for creative and artists, the pencil, for those who actually take advantage of the new features, they're very nice quality of life improvements. So I guess next let's talk about the gaming aspect, because this is another area that I use my iPad Pro for. And honestly, it's really the biggest thing that really pushes the horsepower of this iPad. And yeah, you know, gaming is gaming. I mean, I could just pull up, I don't know, Wuthering Waves as an example. Give me a second, let me just boot that up. But I will say, the screen, like display quality, it really doesn't matter to me. I do like OLED a lot, but like when I'm playing a game, I'm not going to be noticing that. Really, the biggest thing when it comes to gaming on this device that is different from my M1 really was how cool it ran. Like the iPad, like this iPad M4 surprisingly ran much cooler when playing games compared to my M1 Pro. All right, so we're loading in here, and as you can see here, it's running very smoothly. And like this thing, even after doing all the updates, does not feel hot at all. Silky smooth 60 FPS gameplay right here. Really nothing to scoff at. This thing, basically any current like mobile game, this iPad will just chug through it without any issues. And it's really nice too that like the iPad doesn't become super hot. So if you're a gamer, then this is a pretty big, nice quality of life upgrade in terms of, you know, just playing games. So yeah, I guess that performance does also help a lot when you're doing more intensive stuff like video rendering. I never really video render on this thing, but I know the few times I have, the iPad, my previous M1 iPad, it does get extremely hot. But to be honest, most people are not using their iPads to render videos. So that's a very like niche audience. And that's sort of the kind of gist I notice when I'm using this iPad. I think it works for me. For me, I have no regrets purchasing this iPad because the things I do on this iPad, the upgrades to M4 and the upgrades to the Apple Pencil especially do benefit a lot of the things that I do on this iPad, or iPads in general, which is gaming, art, and sometimes video rendering if I need to. So for those specific purposes, I think this iPad is a pretty good upgrade. But going back to like the beginning of this video, normal iPad tasks. If you're someone who just, you know, opens up, you know, let's just, you know, just go Google and just, I don't know, just go to Apple Store or whatever. You're just here to just browse the web, you know, do emails, just anything that's just very basic. 95% of the things on this iPad can be done on an older iPad, and even like the cheapest iPad. And that's sort of the main thing, because you're paying $1,000 minimum for this iPad. And even with the education store having this like really nice like iPad like promotion where you get the education discount and a $100 gift card, that's still pricey. Like $899 for the base model is still pricey, and that doesn't even include stuff like the Apple Pencil or any other accessories. So I think if you're not a sucker for OLED screens, then honestly, like, don't even bother looking at this iPad. If you're not a very heavy iPad user that, you know, does video rendering and all that stuff, really pushing the iPads to the limit, then don't even think about getting this iPad, because really for like less than half the cost, you can get an previous generation M1 iPad Air or iPad Pro, and that iPad will do literally 90% of what this iPad does. Overall, I gotta say, upgrading from an M1 to M4 was pretty surprising for my experience and for what I use the iPad for, and I'm pretty happy I upgraded it. But I have a very specific use case that benefits the most from the upgrades to the M4. So just keep that in mind. I'm a very specific type of iPad user. If you're not a gamer, an artist, or like someone who really pushes or uses their iPad for like very productivity focused work, then honestly, like don't bother upgrading to this thing. Stick with your M1 or even like any iPad that you have right now. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.